What's happening? Welcome everybody. Amp Capo here, Black Adonis Games. We are back in the Mutable deep dive tutorial series. This is going to be episode number 4, and we are going to pick up where we left off. And I want to start this tutorial series off by saying once again that if you want all of the features available in the Mutable sample project, such as the instance actors that are used in the infinite level or other features, then you want to migrate your game animation sample project over into Mutable, and all the rest of this will still work just the same. There are several tutorials on how to merge game animation sample project with just about anything, and all you need to do is follow one of those. I'm not going to go over that here because I'm not using it in that way. Let's go ahead and go in. The first thing that I noticed was a day or so later after I did the tutorial, as I usually do, I tried to go ahead and package the project, and upon cooking it, I got these 41 errors and the cook failed. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to locate these errors and fix these first right off the bat. These should be the last ones we have to fix, I believe. So let's go ahead, and the first one says that it has to do with the toggle wireframe asset, and then the second one here says it has to do with basic menu and the infinite asset. So let's go ahead and we're going to go and fix these right quick. The first thing we want to do is make sure that we're in our level here, the lobby. The next thing that we're going to do to take care of the wireframe error, we are going to go to our showcase folder. So that should be right here, and then you want to click on blueprints, and then there is a blueprint here called wireframe that is broken because I removed some things from it. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this, and it's going to say that the showcase level is referencing it, and I'm not really going to use the showcase level either. So we can actually add that to the things to delete. We're not going to use the showcase level. So let's go ahead and delete that. So we can right click on this and say add to pending delete. Now, if I add this to the pending delete, it's going to show the lobby as well, and we're going to fix that. So you see the lobby there? We're just going to go ahead and force delete it. Now that's going to take a little moment, and while that's happening, I want to go ahead and thank all the people that have been subscribing to the channel, man. We're at 2,400 plus. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's go ahead and get into this. We're going to now open our level blueprint for the lobby. Now, once this opens, we're just going to go to the infinite level loading here where it says infinite, and we're just going to switch this to none. And for now, we're just going to break the link. We're going to leave it there, but we're just not going to use it right now. The next one we're going to do is we're going to go to our showcase level, and we're going to double click that and open it as well. Now in the showcase, we're going to change this to default level. We want this to be our default level. All right, so we're going to compile and save that. And that's going to tie it to the game animation sample project, okay? Because it's going to open that level when we select showcase. Now the wireframe, that logic is here. We really don't need this logic for show wireframe. We can keep it here, maybe use it for something else later, but we're not going to use it for the wireframe. So I'm just going to delete that. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and compile that and save it. We're going to fix one more error. We're going to actually go to the infinite, and then we're going to go ahead and select the UI elements and the basic menu and just open that, and it should be errored, and we're just going to go and fix this error. So we're just going to open the graph, and you're going to see this logic here. It's logic that is referencing things that have to do with items that we're not using anymore. So this whole entire logic, this is on initialized. We're just not going to use this logic. So let's just go down, and we can literally break all of this logic that has to do with the infinite level. We're just going to get rid of that for right now. And then we're just going to compile that and save it. Now I will go ahead and commence to try to cook this again, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right, so we're back, and it did cook properly. So we got 24 warnings. So I know that it will package now because the warnings are not anything that will keep it from packaging. But I'm going to go ahead and package it anyway, and then I will be back again. All right, so that's done, and we got success here. So those errors are now cleaned up. Let's go ahead and go into our customizable object that we created for our character. And we are going to commence to add shoes. All right, so once open, we have our shoes here and we have our tops and our bottoms. So let's go ahead for shoes. I will go to my meta wardrobe here. All right, here I go. So we'll go ahead and drag these in. Don't want those. And we're going to go ahead and set up our shoes. And we are just going to do what we always do. We're going to drag off of the lot 0 and we're going to select mesh section. All right, and that should populate. And then we're just going to add to our body or add to our mesh component body. And we are going to go ahead and drag that to our shoe object. So we need to drag off of our object and we're going to create our child object here. And we are just going to name it after what this is called. It says short boots. So we're just going to call this short boot. And then now we can take our body component and hook those two up. And now we should have shoes. If we go ahead and compile this, we need to go ahead and add our shoes into our sections and groups here. So just as we did for our other setups here, we are going to need to add where we want these to appear. And for our shoes, and we want these to be under cloth. So let's go ahead to our main base object here, and we're just going to go to cloth, and we are going to add a runtime parameter here. So we want to get the UI order. So we're going to go down here and you're going to see this is UI order 1. So for the shoes, we are going to select UI order 1 and the section name is going to be shoes. All right. And then for shoes, we're going to put 1 or none, just like we did for our others. And then for our default value, we can actually put none, or we can add our boots. All right. So now if we go ahead and we compile this, you're going to see our shoes shows up over here, and we should be able to go and put on our short boots. And there you go. Let me go ahead and, all right. And now you can see we have our short shoes on the character. So those are working. So now that we got those compiled, now let's go ahead and go back to our base object. And under our base object, now we should have shoes. This one we can delete until we need another one. Compile and save that. So now in our main menu, when we go to the lobby, we should be able to select shoes, but we do want to create an icon for these shoes. Now let's add that thumbnail. And that should be good to go. Let's go ahead and compile and save that. All right, next, let's get our extra information and our extra assets. We'll just copy them from here. So we want to grab this use thumbnails to ensure that we're using thumbnails, and we'll just go ahead and create it and then paste it here. And then the same thing, we're going to get our none thumbnail and we're going to add that to our shoes as well. And for our thumbnail, we can just go to the character folder. We should have one that says shoe none. There you go. And we will just use that as our thumbnail. And we're going to go ahead, compile, save that. And we are going to go and press play. And it's not going to zoom out so we can see our foot and our shoes, but you can see we got our foot and our shoe set up here. It is there. If we go to confirm, you'll see that the shoes will be there. We exit and go out. You can see that the shoes are actually over the boot, which we don't want, but you get the point that the shoe is there. Once we have tops and bottoms, we can separate what shows when certain items are selected. So next, we're going to go ahead and we are going to work on some tops and bottoms. Now, first thing we're going to want to do is go to our metahuman character. So open up your metahuman character. And what we're going to do is, if you don't have these changes, you're going to make the same changes that I'm making here. First, we want to go to the materials. And if you have a body texture override, you want to go ahead and remove that. And then the show top underwear, we're going to turn to off. And I just put an item that I can go ahead and move over with this character. So the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and rig the character and actually assemble the character. Then I will be right back when all this is done. All right, and before I assemble this, I want to go ahead and give it a name that's going to make it stand out. So I'm going to put MHCK Pocky no top. This means that we don't have an underwear top. So I'm going to go ahead and assemble this. and I shall return as soon as it's done. All right, now that we have that assembled, we should be able to go ahead and I'm going to do a save all real quick. And then we should be able to go ahead and close this tab. Let's go ahead and comment our shoe section really quick here. Comment this as shoes. All right, and so now we're going to go ahead and put our first top. So we will go here. And remember in the last video where we did the body naked, we're going to do something similar here. We're going to go ahead and move our full outfits up top. And I'm just going to go ahead and put this inside the bubble there. And we'll do the same thing with the shoes. We're going to keep the shoes at the bottom. So now we got our top section. And what we're going to do with our tops is we are going to bring our first top in, which I'm going to go ahead and use that crop top. And this should be all the clothing for my character. And I should have the crop top here. And we're just going to go ahead and drag this crop top in. And we're going to go ahead and make our child object. And we're just going to call this crop top. And then we're going to grab our mesh section. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to add to our body mesh component. And then we're going to go ahead and drag this in. All right. And then we can go ahead and comment this as tops. For the tops, now that we have this done, we should be able to compile this. And you should see your crop top show here. And you should be able to pop it on and pop it off. And as we see, the underwear situation is not working for us here. So this is where we're going to use our naked top. So what we're going to do is get our body again. So the same thing we did here with the body mesh, we can literally just copy and we're going to get our mesh section. And this time for our body mesh, we are going to go and get our top only body. So we're going to have to look and you'll see that the new one is here. It says Kapaki no top body materials. This is what we want to use for our body material. And then we're going to go ahead and inject this into the body. So we're going to go ahead and take this and we're going to add that here. And we could comment this as no underwear top. So this will be the no top for the underwear. Once we got the no underwear top, let's go ahead and compile that again. And now when we select this crop top, you'll see that the top goes away. Now the problem is the way that the top is here, where it's still showing these little pieces. I did something different for that to make those pieces go away. And what I did to achieve this was go to the head, and we're just gonna go to the face skin baked LOD 0, and we're gonna switch this to our LOD 0, and we wanna use the other skin. So let's put no top. All right, and we should have a LOD 0 for that skin, which is here. Now let's go ahead and compile that, and you should see your no top skin should show up here, and that should be the skin that you want to keep. So that way you don't have any problems. So now if you take the top off, you'll see that we have our underwear. Add the top, it makes it disappear. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to create a bottom. So for the bottoms, I will go ahead and what do I have here for bottoms? We'll use this jean shorts here. So we'll go ahead and get these, and we're going to go to the bottoms and we're just going to call these shredded jean shorts. So now we got our shredded jean shorts, and we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to grab our mesh section and we're going to go ahead and add that to the mesh component body. And once we got that added to the body, we're just going to go ahead and plug that in, and we will label this as bottoms. So let's go ahead and comment as bottoms. Once we have our bottoms together here, we should be able to go ahead and compile this, and now we'll see our bottoms show up. So if we got our bottoms on, none, we take this off. So you'll see that the bottoms, we'll go ahead and cover the bottom. And most of the time, this is how it's going to be. We will work on a bottom setup later. Right now, we will not need it. This should suffice for right now. So now what we're going to do is set our tops and bottoms up in the proper Z order and where they belong. And they should go in the exact same spot as shoes did. So we can really copy from shoes. And we know that we're going to use the UI order of 1 So we want to add that as well to these two. So we want to make each of these have a UI order of 1. Then we're going to go ahead and copy our use thumbnails. So we just want to add one here and paste. All right. And then we're going to do the same thing with the top. We're just going to add one here and paste. And then we're going to go ahead and do our use thumbnail or none thumbnail. So let's copy that. And we got our bottoms. We just want to add none thumbnail, and then we're going to do the same thing here at the top. We're going to put our none thumbnail. Now we should be able to compile and save these both. Now we need to actually add the sections to our character, and we need our thumbs for no top and no bottom. And I already created some thumbnails, so we can go here and I should be able to put pants none. We'll go ahead and add that there. And then for the tops none. So now we should be able to compile this and save this. Now we just have to add our section names here. So this section we're going to call bottoms. And then this section we're going to call tops. Now we'll go ahead and compile, save that. Now let's go ahead and set our 1 or none parameters for each of these. So we can set these to 1 or none and compile and save that. Now we should be able to go in to our runtime parameters. You want to add 2, as I did here. Just click this twice. And then we're going to select tops and we're going to select bottoms. All right, then we're going to compile and save this. Now you should see your tops and bottoms switch up to where it's a 1 or none. And there we go. So now our character is able to wear this. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to restart, and I'll be right back as soon as it's done, just to solidify everything. And then we're going to go ahead and test. Oh, we did not put our thumbnails for our actual objects here. So let's go ahead and add the thumbnails for our actual objects. Without those, we're not going to see anything. So let's go ahead and add our UI thumbnails here. I should have one here for crop top. And then I should have one for the shredded shorts. So let's go type in shorts, frayed shorts. There we go. So now that should be good. Compile, save that. And now we should be able to go ahead and try this again. So we're going to go ahead and press play, customize, and now you'll see your thumbs here. So when we click on this, you'll see automatically. And if you take the top back off, you'll see that the top comes back on. We can add our shoes, which, like I said, the zooming is not working when you're in Pi for some reason. And we will work on that as well. There is a setup that we need to do to make sure that the zooming is working at least semi-decent during gameplay. But let's go ahead and stop. And now what we're going to need to do is go to our sandbox character. So let's go to our blueprints and let's go to our retargeted sandbox character that we were using, which should be character Quinn. And we're going to go ahead and open this character up. And once in the character, we just want to change our body CSK and our head CSKs to your customizable instance in here and here. So I'm going to type Kapaki again. And we're going to compile and save this. So now when we go to the viewport, you should see your character and you will see the little flashing there, but don't worry about it. It just does that while you're in the character. It won't do that in game. So we're going to go ahead and save that. And you're going to also notice that the body proportions look a little bit weird. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take care of that using the generic retargeter. So we want to go to our body and our head, the actual skeletal meshes, and we want to switch this so that we are using the generic, all right, as we are here. So we just need to put the proper tags in for our characters' meshes. Also, if we go back down to our character in the lobby, we're going to notice that the body is first and the head is second. But in this particular case, we need to switch these around. So let's go ahead and make the body be top dog. And we're going to have to move it around a couple of times. For some reason, it just acts really weird when you try to do this. But there we go. And then we just want to attach the head to the body. And you'll notice that your character looks weird. We're just going to go into the construction script. We're going to break these node links here, and we're just going to switch these around so that the body is the leader component, like so. Then when you compile it, you should see your character look a little bit better proportion wise as well. And then now the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to take the head, which is using this generic, and we can just go ahead and put that to none for right now. We'll take the body and switch it to the generic retargeter. And then we're going to need to set the tags up. So I'm pretty sure I had the tags in the head. So if I put tag, we're just going to take this tag from the head, which is the RTG underscore UEFN to UE4 mannequin. And you want that to be exact. And we're just going to take that and paste it into the body's tags. And then you should see your character snap into position there. So let's go ahead and press play. The customization, we've already pretty much got what we got. So we're just going to go ahead and go back into the showcase level, and there you go. So now you should see your character, and you should be able to use your character, and everything should work just fine. Shouldn't have any animation glitches or anything like that. It should work. And I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. When I come back, I'm not quite sure what we'll be doing. Maybe we'll work on hair color. I'm not sure if I want to do that just yet. I'll just let you guys know when it's time to drop the video. Anyway, I do appreciate everyone that's been stopping by. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification so you know when I drop something new, and be sure to share the content with others that may need it. That's it. I'll be back with another one. Amp Capo, Black Adonis Games.